Hmm. I think we're down to you, Chris. Why don't you
Yeah.
share with us what's on your mind for a topic tonight?
So my topic was where would you like to see Nebraska record wise be at for Scott Frost to retain his job going into the 2023 season? And I think at minimum, because of the schedule that we have, I mean, we have Wisconsin, Oklahoma, and Iowa, I think, as our, um, let's see, Oklahoma, Wisconsin, Iowa, and Michigan, right? As our, I think, top four hardest teams that we're going to play next year. I would say minimum 8-4, really. Um, uh, for me, yeah, you have to make the bowl game as well, or whatever. At 8-4, that's possible, but I think 6-6 might not do it for him, in my opinion. I
Really?
don't know what you guys. Well, I don't know what you guys think, but I don't think 6-6 is going to be enough.
Here's where I'll disagree with you. This is the only reason I'll disagree with you on this. It's the coaching changes. With Trevor
Okay.
Albertson allowing him so much room to move so much with the coaching changes, I think that gives him a little more opportunity
Okay.
for room. Whereas if he had kept his staff, then I think you're absolutely right. But
Yeah.
with him allowing so many different coaching changes, I think it broadened his leash a little bit there.
Okay.
Well, I'm in the camp of saying that minimum he has to go 6-6. Minimum
Okay.
for him to keep his job, he has to go 6-6. We have to go to a bowl game. To me, that's not good enough. I'm not exactly going to be thrilled if we're 6-6 because I think this team has the potential based on the way the schedule lays out, and because Oklahoma, you don't know what the hell you're going to get from Oklahoma this year at all. They're down their top two quarterbacks. Rattler's gone. Williams is gone. They brought in Dylan Gabriel from UCF. We all know how good bringing guys in from Group of Five to Power Five and expecting them to perform at a Power Five level has worked out for us the last 4 years. So
Don't make us the barometer of success.
exactly, we shouldn't be the barometer. You're exactly right. Here's the thing.
I like what John just said.
Yeah, it's hard to lose.
Hard to lose four when you're winning all of them.
Yeah.
Smartest person in that family.
I want that Kool-Aid, baby.
He is the smartest person in that family. I'll tell you that.
He makes his Kool-Aid with vodka, Chris. Trust me.
Oh man.
We got Northwestern in Dublin. We should win that. We got North Dakota. We don't go on the road until Rutgers after our first bye week. Because after they reshuffle the schedule and all that stuff, we're going to be literally in Lincoln for 41 days after the game in Ireland. So there's no reason Nebraska shouldn't be at least 5-2 going into the last 5 games of the season. Then again, I'm of the opinion that the last time I predicted something, the Nebraska did the exact opposite. We are perfectly capable of also going 2-5 based on the first 4 years of Frost. But for me, if we're 5-2, 4-3 or something after 7 games, there's no reason we can't knock out a couple of wins in those last 5 games and at least go 6-6. I also think 8-4 is possible. It's possible, but I think that's our ceiling for 2022.
I think if we go undefeated going into Oklahoma and we beat Oklahoma, I think 8-4 is definitely possible.
Oh yeah. I think our schedule this year is honestly just incredibly favorable in comparison to previous years, and it's probably the best schedule we've had given to us during the Frost era. And like my dad said, in the first 6 games, we get 4 of them at home, and then one of them is in Ireland, and then the other is at Rutgers. Right after we have Indiana come to Lincoln, we finally go to our first away game in Rutgers in week 7. But ultimately, I think we do have to have, at the very least, a 4-2 record by the halfway point of the season. And Derek, you mentioned something that I hadn't thought about, so thank you. It kind of changed my perspective just a little bit, that didn't think about with how much coaching changes that Frost has done so far. I think you're right. It did increase his leash a little bit. That if he would have kept his same coaching staff, he would definitely have to go 8-4, which is what I wrote down. I think he would need to get an 8-4 to keep his job. But with the coaching changes, I think he could very well get a 7-5 or a 6-6, and he could continue coaching. But honestly, I think no matter what, if we go to a bowl game and we find a way to lose, I think Frost could very easily get fired if we're only 6-6 or 7-5 and we lose a bowl game against somebody that in all reality we should beat.
I'll disagree with you on one aspect of that. In today's world, you don't really make a decision off the bowl game anymore. If you're going to fire him, you're going to fire him long before that bowl game happens.
That is a good
point.
With that. That is how the culture has changed quite a bit.
I'm going to agree with Derek also. When Scott Frost enters 2022, to save his job, he just needs to show progress in whatever metric is decided. And I think 4 wins or maybe 5 wins will get him another year. But I think that schedule, although it looks easier, there's a good possibility that Nebraska could possibly go 0-6 in the final 6 games.
I think if that happens, Frost is gone.
Yeah, in that scenario, I think you're right.
Even if we're 6-0, we finish out 0-6. I think he's probably gone. I don't think that back half that would be that tough. I mean, there's some tough games.
That'd be a bad luck.
But
yeah, because it's really the last 3.
You lose again to Illinois. You lose again to Purdue.
You lose again to Minnesota.
Bad.
Yeah. So for the listeners out there or the people watching, the final 6 games of next year is at Purdue, Illinois, Minnesota, Michigan, Wisconsin, Iowa. Those last 4 games are
at tough. Michigan.
Can I just pause you there?
Iowa.
Like, you're making it sound like that is so daunting of a schedule. Like,
but it has been over the last
Illinois,
4 years.
Well, yes, and if the last 4 years repeat itself, then we're going to win 3 or 4 games, and it's a moot point. Like, I mean, you're acting like, well, Illinois, we should be scared of. Like it. I get it. They beat us 2 years in a row. I understand that, but I'm just saying, like, if we're losing to Illinois, he's probably going to get fired anyway. Like, I don't know why you think we're going to win the first 6 games if we think we're going to lose to Illinois. Like, is Illinois that team that, like, well, Rutgers would get their asses beat by Illinois. Purdue would get ran out Purdue would just destroy Indiana. Like, why do you think that we're going to win those games but then lose to those teams? Like, that's what I don't understand about the last 6 argument.
Here's a good thing to think about, or a terrible thing to think about, depending on your perspective on it, is Frost's win-loss record after a bye week. He has yet to win a game after a bye week. Scheduled, I think he won after a bye week, but I think it was only because of COVID, so it wasn't a scheduled bye week.
Chris is saying he's won 2 of them.
No, we have 2 buys this year.
Yes, we do, and we have a bye week, and then we have Indiana at home right after that bye week, and then we have another bye week, and we have Illinois at home. So Illinois was an absolute dumpster, or not Illinois. Indiana was an absolute dumpster fire this year. Didn't win a single Big Ten game, and facing them at home after a bye week, after let's say best case scenario is a motivating win against OU. Nothing would be more Nebraska-like and Frost-like to just get housed at home by Indiana after a bye week, and then somehow we pull off a win at Purdue, and then we get housed by Illinois again. Like, that would just be terrible.
The reality is we're going to be starting a brand new offense, new offensive coordinator, brand new coaches. And with the way that the transfer portal has been going, there's going to be a lot of new faces that are going to be in that offensive lineup. Mm-hmm. I mean, just being new to everything that we're introducing. I mean, what are the odds that all of a sudden that after all these years and you bring all these changes, it clicks right away? There's going to be some hiccups,
which is why the Northwestern game scares me. I mean, Northwestern.
Oh yeah,
they don't normally have 2 bad years in a row. Like everyone's predicting them to be a 4-win team, which means they're probably due for a 9-win season.
You're probably right, but they never start off well.
I know.
Nebraska, Scott Frost hasn't started off the first
I'm not
game,
saying
though.
that, and it wasn't even part of the equation there. I'm just saying that with what Tyler's saying, Northwestern never starts off well either.
And again,
Did Northwestern lose their quarterback too?
Well, which quarterback? I mean, Hunter
Johnson.
Johnson.
Well, Hunter
Starter.
Johnson
The
left,
starter.
but
Yeah.
But I don't
Peyton
know.
Ramsey, not
Not Peyton
what's
Ramsey.
his name?
I don't know. But to the question at hand, I obviously we need to see progress. I think that's the question. I hate the wins-loss thing because I don't know, like this year, if you had told me Scott Frost was going to go 3-9 and kept his job,
keep his job,
year, I would have been like, well, in order for that to happen, you would have probably had to see an unprecedented like win-loss, like 1 score possessions. It had to be the most flukish season in history,
and losing your quarterback,
and it happened, Like so, like when you start talking about this, like in year 5, I'm like, well, I don't know, like an 8-win season he could get fired off at 8 wins. If all 4 losses come late in the year and they're all blowouts, then yeah, maybe he gets fired. Could he keep his job on a 6-6 record? Sure, if they're all really competitive losses, the wins and losses happen at the right timing. Like, yeah, I mean, these things could happen. So, like, there's definitely a range there. I would say that if he goes 4-8, he's definitely fired. If he goes 9-3, he's definitely keeping his job. Like,
I will agree with you, Tyler, on that, but except for one thing, I don't think there's any way he's losing his job after an 8-4 season.
You lose the last 4 games. You start off 8-0 and use your last 4 by 30 points.
I don't know. But I don't know if you're using that as the standard. We're 8-0 going into the last 4. We're probably beating 2 of the last 4.
Well, yes, I would imagine that if we started,
but it would be a very Nebraska thing to do.
Well, yeah, it would be.
After
but
going
8-0. I also think too, if we beat Oklahoma, that might just make us go to that 8-4 record anyway.
I hope so. I mean, I think Oklahoma's going to be interesting because I think they're going to be top 10 when we play them. I'm not convinced Oklahoma's going to be one of the 10 best teams in the country. Which people like Justin will say, oh, well, that doesn't count because they probably will finish the year like 22nd. And Justin will write it off saying that, oh, it doesn't matter because they suck by the end of the year, but they'll be 6th when we play them. And he'll write that off if that happens.
I mean, you could write it off, but at the point that we play them, and if it jolts us into the 8-4 or 9-3 area because of that nice Nebraska signature win right there, then I don't think it really matters if Oklahoma ends up as the 22nd ranked team.
Which would be still a signature win.
Well, yeah.
Cracking the Whipple.
Yeah, by God, I think we've got her done. The first Big Red Roundtable is pretty much in the bag. So, I think we did good.
Can I ask a follow-up question? Everyone, we already talked, what does Scott Frost need to do to keep his job? Can I ask a stupid question here? What do you think that we actually go, given our schedule next year? Is it too early to even have an opinion on that?
I haven't even
Tyler's afraid to
really go over the schedule yet because
10-2,
until I see the spring game, and start hearing stories from fall camp and anything like that, it's really, really hard for me to make that prediction. I would say we'll go anywhere between 5-7 and 7-5. That's where my head's at right now. We're going to be either 5-7 or somewhere in 7-5 because I'm in the middle now. I'm in the middle. The Kool-Aid is been replaced by way too much bourbon, unfortunately.
At least quality bourbon, right?
Well, not really. I drink Jim Beam, but
I always do.
I have at least switched to Gatorade after 2 bourbons, so instead of 6 bourbons like last time, and that was really bad. So
I've been drinking Yingling all night. So
Yingling.
So Justin, my thing on my channel, I normally do a ceiling and a floor.
Yeah,
and I think right now Nebraska's ceiling is probably 8-4,
Okay.
And our floor is probably 5-7.
5-7. Okay.
I think that's my prediction. Well, maybe I'll change it once I kind of start deep diving into the schedule and do that whatnot, for my future videos. But I think right now I would go with those two records.
You saw Justin Zadnicek come on and say he says 8-4.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's probably a lot of listeners here, Husker fans, think that's going to be more, I don't know, more in line.
That's what I thought we would do in year one. So,
yeah, I'm very pessimistic about it. Like, I really want to look at the schedule and say that's a potential win. That's a potential win, but
everything's a potential loss too.
Historically, like, we just find ways to lose. Like, nothing would be more fitting than to go into week 6 against Indiana. They come to Lincoln and we just lay an absolute egg after, let's say, winning against OU. Like that's my painful prediction is like, if we were to lose against anybody this year, it would be like Indiana, Illinois, and Minnesota, but somehow we pull off a win against like one of the 3, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Iowas.
I would love it. That's a signature win right there, Scott.
You know what?
Yep.
If I had to take losses to those and beat the main 3, I'll take it.
Yeah, I would lose against Indiana, like Purdue, or Indiana, Illinois, Minnesota if we somehow went 3-0 against Michigan, Wisconsin, and Iowa. That would be awesome. But I think I'm right in the middle, just like my dad. I think the floor is seriously, painfully say it 4-8. Like, somehow we only win against North Dakota, Georgia Southern, Rutgers, and Indiana. Those are our only wins. That would be the worst case scenario, in my opinion, because unless Indiana figures out how to switch their 2-10 season to something more 500-ish, I don't know what Tom Allen is going to be doing over there. And then best case scenario, if I'm being like objective best case scenario, I think 7-5. But best case scenario, like if I were to be drinking Kool-Aid again, if I were to actually crack that bitch open, I think, we could go like 9-3 with our only losses being against Michigan, Wisconsin, or Iowa, coin flip, and OU.
Yeah, we got an entire offseason to think about, what it's going to take to get to that type of level. But I mean, to me, 4-8 is going to keep Scott Frost. He's going to be able to bring his entire staff back, even after a 4-8 season. And I don't know, maybe there's nothing wrong with that. I think a lot of people are really encouraged by the hires that he has. So, if you just have to see a little bit of progress going on there.
So you think that he would be given leash because the people like Trev Alberts and the boosters are willing to give his new coaches leash as well?
I think so. I think so. Derek kind of touched on that a little bit, and I think he's replacing all but one person on his offensive staff. And if they can show whatever progress, because I fully expect our defense to take a step back, a step or maybe even 2 steps back with all the players that they're replacing. And then if you have all the guys that on offense that they're bringing in, this offense is going to look a little bit different. And, you're going to have that as it's like, okay, yeah, sure, they were losing, but they changed their entire offense and we have a lot of new faces. I think there will be enough evidence out there to say, okay, well, let's see what they can do next year, with all the new faces and new coaches.
Okay.
I think it's a possibility because I never thought that we would bring back Scott Frost after the 3-9 season. Nobody did, right?
Yeah.
And
I think Frost was smart to get out ahead of it too.
Yeah. And
once he sat down with Trev and said, "Yeah, let's renegotiate," and then he's like, "All right, I'm going to walk out of here and fire 4 dudes to try to figure out how to make this thing work."
I'll cut heads off of whoever. Whoever it takes, if I can come back. But
yeah, because this is his school, and what's hurts is that 2 of the guys that he fired were guys that played here. That's what was hard too, and I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all. I wish they could have figured out how to make it work.
Well, and that's a shitty narrative also that comes out. It's like, well, Scott Frost, he really wants to coach there. Well, you know what? So did Greg Austin, and so did Ryan Held. I mean, hell, all those guys wanted to coach here. It's like, is it more valuable because he's the head coach? I don't know. I mean, that's a silly narrative. You're on mute there, Kim. Still on mute.
Blah, 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 blah.
I plugged my USB interface from my computer by accident when I reached for my Gatorade. So
there it is.
Guess that's what I get for trying to be sober. Huh. I won't do that again.
It's never a good idea.
No, it's just I bumped my USB cable for my USB interface. So,
all right, Chris, final thoughts, man.
I enjoyed this whole experience. I'm really happy that you guys allowed me to come on and voice my opinions on the Red Roundtable tonight. And I hope to do it with you guys again one night. I'm always open to whenever and wherever. So thanks for everyone participating too.
It's been fun. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good time. I appreciate all you guys doing this. Justin, where can everybody find you out there on the
You can find us on Twitter. We don't tweet a lot, but we're on Twitter at Husker Podcast. You can find us on Facebook. You'll find even less of our content out there. But we are there. You can find our podcast anywhere you get your podcast. We're all over the place, including Spotify. Spotify's a big one. Apple Podcasts, Podbean, wherever.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we do shows all the time, so check us out.
Yeah, we are. Generation Red. You can find us at genredpod.com, and that's where you can listen to the show in your browser. You can subscribe to the show through the provided links, or even download the show right from your browser. So genredpod.com is the best place to get connected with us, or at genredpod on Twitter, as you can see down there on the screen, or facebook.com/genredpod, and Generation Red live on YouTube. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. You guys are the best. John, thank you. We really appreciate the comments. We appreciate you participating. And, dude, you really need to discover bourbon, because clearly you have way, way, way too much optimism. You guys are the best. Thanks for watching. Thanks again to Chris and the Husker Podcast guys for joining us tonight. And Justin's cracking another Yingling, obviously for the post-show chat where we just sit and curse at each other for the next hour. So anyway, you know what, guys? This has been an absolute blast. I've absolutely enjoyed this. And for anybody curious as to when the next Big Red Roundtable is occurring, it will be the second Sunday, February, and we will be having another guest on the show, and we will specifically target talking about the recruiting class and the transfer portal additions to the team. So clearly, Chris, you need to go because Mama just told you.
The wife just woke up.
Yeah, exactly. What are you doing? Why are you talking so much? You just woke me up. Yeah. All right, man. Thanks again, everybody. We appreciate you watching. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Talk to you guys later.
All right,
dude.
Have a night, everyone.
Yeah.
Fuck Iowa. Their corn sucks.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I have that shirt.
Exactly. Yeah.
Good. You got the Iowa or Hawkeyes tears tumbler.
So no, I'm gonna be getting a shirt that says Iowa has bad corn on it. So if you guys didn't check it out on my Twitter page, they I had one when I went to the Iowa State Fair. I was wearing Nebraska's way better than Iowa. Here's my wife.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Hi, wife.
He got Josie Jewell's autograph yesterday too for fun.
Yeah, I already
heard.
told him about Josie Jewell.
And how he
We heard.
Yeah. Coming in late.
Well, this is this has been fun, boys.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we will head out and we will see you again the second Sunday in February, where we will talk about the recruiting class as well as the transfer portal additions to the team. Here's hoping Travion Citizen joins that running back room because, damn it, I guess 7 aren't enough.
Did it.
So, all righty. We'll see y'all later.
Peace out.
Later.
Go Big Red.